Welcome back to Top 10 Tuesdays. It's Brian, Bill, and Mike, and today we are talking about the best TV shows from the last decade. And Bill, take us away.
All right, let's see. Starting off our list with number 10. And, I got a pretty good range of stuff here. I also want to say it's kind of interesting this past decade with the rise of the streaming service. We have a lot of originals from Netflix and other streaming services that kind of come into the picture. So I think that kind of makes for an interesting list, particularly in the 2010s. Starting my list at number 10 is Downton Abbey. I mean, you may or may not like it. I actually really enjoyed it, surprisingly. It's a public television show, but I think it had good characters, a lot of depth, a lot of watchability, and it was kind of like a cultural phenomenon. Everybody was talking about Downton. But yeah,
absolutely.
I think that it definitely deserves its spot. Number 9.
Yeah.
Oh, go ahead.
I was going to say, I'm thrilled that it made the list. I like what it's done for public television in general.
Yeah.
I haven't seen it myself, but it looks intriguing.
Yeah, no, actually, I definitely recommend a watch. I was a little surprised at first. I was like, oh, it's going to be like one of those boring period pieces, but no, it was actually really good. All right, take us to number 9. Another cultural phenomenon, The Walking Dead. I think everybody, especially those early seasons, I can't say that it's held its quality throughout the time, but those early seasons.
And its spinoffs suck.
Yeah. I mean, that's why the spinoffs don't make the list. But everybody was talking about The Walking Dead for years, and waited to see the next episode, and waited for Halloween every year to see the new season. So that made it in at number 9. Let's see, number 8 is Catfish, the TV show. I really liked it. It's an MTV show, so it kind of is the show that makes it on the list for the reality TV segment. I don't know. I just really like the concept. I actually saw the movie that Neve put out that kind of spawned the show. I saw that back in I think 2011, just kind of randomly, and it was really good. And then I remember seeing the show hit MTV, and I was like, oh hey, that was that movie Catfish. And I've been kind of hooked. It's kind of a guilty pleasure kind of show, but I think that it again with its cultural relevance and kind of filling that spot for a reality TV show. That's why I put it on the list.
Yeah, and I think it's fair to have.
Hunters.
Say what?
I was.
At least you didn't do Duck Hunter.
Oh yeah, no.
I know Catfish isn't really about catching catfish.
Oh no.
Internet thing. You pretend to be someone much more attractive or completely different.
Yeah, I guess I should have explained, for those who haven't seen the show. It's about Neve and Max. They're childhood friends and decide to make a documentary that spawned the show. But they the original, the movie was about Neve being catfished, which is like you said, somebody pretending to be somebody else on the internet to I guess try to get into some sort of internet relationship. But he goes to meet them and they're not who they say they were. So it spawned a whole thing where they delve into, and it's thousands and thousands of people on the internet pretending to be somebody else in a relationship. And they kind of go and, from one person to the next and try to find out whether or not they were real.
Yeah, I definitely think I like that there was or is a reality TV show on your list. I wonder, where did the term catfish come from? What are catfish known to
mimic something else?
I feel like they explained that at some point, but I honestly don't remember. It does have
it's not relevant.
So, all right, let's see. At number 7, we have Rick and Morty. I mean, great cartoon.
Sure.
Everybody loves it. It almost actually didn't make my list, even though I put it in at number 7. It was one of those where I was like, I don't know if it should, and solely for the idea that I think a lot of the fandom for Rick and Morty has kind of ruined it for me.
Toxic.
Yeah.
Fandom,
Yeah.
Yes. Everyone agrees on that.
Yeah, and it really is a shame because it is an intelligent, funny cartoon show that has depth, and that's why ultimately I did put it on the list. But the fandom definitely drags it down.
You don't need to be intelligent to watch it, though.
Yeah,
you might get more out of it.
More out of it.
More intelligent.
Exactly.
But you don't need to be intelligent to watch this show.
Yeah.
proof positive? I enjoy the show, so there you go.
Well, thank you for making that shot. Neither me or Bill has to go there.
All right, at number 6, the Great British Baking Show. Like, again, that's the non-scripted reality TV. But man, there's just something about it. It's so dang like positive and wholesome. You can't help but like it when you watch it. Like,
I love that.
yeah, I don't
They
know
ha-
what it is, but like, I don't know. It's so weird at first when you first watch it, because like if you've ever watched competition shows like Iron Chef or Chop, like, which I have in the past, like those type of like competitive cooking shows, like it's very cutthroat, you know, like for the most part. And I don't know if that's like more of the like American versus British thing, but when you watch the British Bake Off, they're like constantly encouraging each other and helping each other, and then like genuinely let whatever they create like speak for itself, rather than like trying to tear each other down or sabotage each other. And I don't know, it just has such a positivity to it that it's like magnetic.
I like
They
that
have a
because.
deep-
Go ahead, Brian.
They have a D-list comedian of the last season from the Mighty Boosh. I might bring up.
Oh,
Talent
Reggie
was
Watts.
from whatever his name is. Yes, he was from a Adult Swim show called The Mighty Bush. Sorry, Bush. The Mighty Bush.
Well, we can.
Yeah, I like that it's a cooking show, which I know are insanely popular, but it sounds like it's almost like subverting expectations. Where, like you said, it's not everyone's working together. You know, it's not Gordon Ramsay yelling at you.
Exactly. All right. Well, let's see. Moving on. Number 5, Bob's Burgers. I think it's
Sure.
been one of the better cartoon
Never
outings.
got it.
Yeah, and I don't know. Like the characters are great. I look forward to when a new season drops or new episode drops on Hulu. I think all around it makes me laugh. It makes you really connect with the characters over time. So it's kind of in a long line of shows. Simpsons and Family Guy, but I think that it has a little more depth than like Family Guy.
Yeah, no, I'd agree with that.
All right, let's see. And number 4, this was, of course, big streaming service hit, Stranger Things.
Sure.
Yeah, can't argue with that.
It's a really good show. I think that we talked about this on one of our other podcasts, that like just the right amount of nostalgia. Like it's there, but the stories and things are original, So I really like that it has that 80s, kids movie feel, but like it does it in a very like dark, adult way. And I really like the whole world that they have built around Stranger Things. I think the first season is by far the best. And I wouldn't say that the following 2 seasons have been bad. But the quality hasn't been quite up to snuff. But I think overall the show is really good.
It's hard to follow a breakout first season.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
It is.
First season was good. It's worth it just for the first season. Decline in second season. I didn't really go back to the third season.
I actually thought the third season was a little bit better than the second. I think it kind of goes back on the upswing, which is a good sign.
Yeah, that's impressive in and of itself.
I do want to mention too that there was some criteria for what I put on the list. Whatever I put on here had to start in the 2010s, so there might be like shows that had run through the 2010s that didn't make the list, like Breaking Bad and others. So there was like that criteria, and that it had to have at least 2 seasons. So that's why I didn't put like Mandalorian on there, because it's like, well, can't really tell if a show is going to be really good by just 1 season. You know what I mean?
Sure.
So that's kind of some of the criteria I used.
Interesting. No Breaking Bad on the list.
No.
I mean, I get why.
Yeah, and it was because like I think the bulk of the better seasons, the early seasons, were before 2010.
Sure.
So like, although the show like continued after that, it was like I think already kind of in its decline. So, all right, number 3, The Good Place. So I don't know, it's a really good show.
Yeah.
I was surprised that I got into it, but I really did, and I find myself like really waiting for the new episode each week when it's in season. Have you guys seen it?
I don't think I've seen it.
Yeah, I've seen it. Yes, it has a weird appeal to it. I'm like, I don't want to watch like this show, but I do.
Yeah,
What's it about?
Stupid.
it's
It's hell. It's about
a
hell.
spoiler alert.
Oh,
Yeah,
huh.
spoiler alert.
You could have ran that off as a joke.
Yeah. So
But hell is an element. Bill, do spoiler free.
yeah, well, yeah. So like, I don't know if how far you want me to get into it because of the spoilers, but yeah.
I personally don't care.
Okay, so well, it's so basically the premise is that these like four people wake up in what they think is heaven or the good place, and you come to find out that they've actually been in hell the whole time, and that they've been like subtly tortured through like thinking that they're in the good place, but they're not supposed to be there. So it's kind of an interesting concept. And it goes further into the whole system for judging who goes to like the good place or the bad place is broken and stuff in the later seasons. But it's just really interesting to watch it unfold.
Fascinating.
All right, number 2, Game of Thrones. I feel like you can't really make one of these lists, for the last decade without mentioning Game of Thrones.
I think that's sort of cheating, but
I mean,
they have a good source material, and when they sort of broke away from that source material, the last season wasn't quite as good.
And I definitely agree. I was going to say I share the sentiments that most people do, is that last season was really not good, and especially the way they ended it just felt cheap, and I don't know, it feel like it fit the rest of the show. But I think
it's a good show, but
yeah.
it's cheating.
Overall, though, we're talking about shows in the last decade. Game of Thrones has to be up there.
Absolutely. I mean, it was a cultural phenomenon, which I think kind of plays a role. Those first 5 seasons were incredible. I think I came in late. My sister was watching an episode, and I kind of sat down and watched part of it with her. Yeah, no, definitely.
Yeah. So
definitely pretty quality.
Before I do my number 1, I've got a couple of honorable mentions here. Better Call Saul, a spinoff of Breaking Bad. So, sure. And I think in some ways it's actually probably if I had my personal opinion is that it's probably a better show overall. Then we have Orange is the New Black, another Netflix original.
I was wondering if you were going to put that on there.
Yeah, that nearly made my
until
list.
The third season it had me.
Yeah, yeah. That's really why it got bumped off the list, is because I don't think that it stayed consistently good. But you're right. Those first 3 seasons were really good, but then it kind of fell off. One I have a lot of fun with is Drunk History.
Oh, yeah.
Sure. Yeah.
Excellent show.
Hilarious.
Don't even need to be drunk to enjoy it. Or
I think
it's fun when you're completely sober.
Great concept, and definitely gets me laughing, like good belly laugh every time I watch it.
Agreed.
Unbreakable Kimmy Schmidt, again another streaming service original.
Another weird one that I found I liked.
Yeah, exactly. It's kind of one of those weird shows where you're like, "There's no way I'm ever going to like this," but you start watching it because girlfriend or whatever gets you to watch it, and then you find yourself like really into it and laughing a lot. So I definitely would recommend that one as well. And speaking of which, one of those kind of like shockingly good shows as the final honorable mention is iZombie. CW show.
Okay.
Kind of hits on like the zombie phenomenon that was real popular in the 2010s, but in like a really,
it takes the procedural detective show twist.
Yep. And I think it's kind of a unique blend. You get like a comedy, like, detective show that has like a unique take on like the whole zombie genre. So have you seen it, Mike?
Yeah, I haven't seen it. I've been meaning to watch it because the one doctor guy, Raul, I think is his real name,
mm-hmm.
the British guy.
I know he's
shows up
a mortician.
Yeah. He shows up in Funhouse sometimes. I like him a lot on Funhouse, so I've been meaning to watch the show.
He's one of the better characters on the show, I think, too, Ravi. But yeah, I was kind of surprised. It was actually kind of funny because my girlfriend's father is actually the one that suggested that we watch it, and I was just like, it's like a CW comedy. But I'm like, all right, and I definitely enjoyed it all the way through. So
I hated Major in the beginning, but he actually grew on me.
Yeah, he does.
Same thing with Blaine. A lot of those characters you hated in the beginning.
In Blaine, you kind of like love to hate Blaine. You know, it's like he's such a good like villain and so balanced that you're like at certain points you're like, am I like rooting for Blaine or do I hate him? You know?
And they pulled a Buffy there, sort of. They give me a really Buffy feel with Blaine's character,
Yeah.
sort of the spike of iZombie
Mhm.
universe.
It's impressive. Year after year, the CW puts out some good shows. I mean, not many that I watch personally, but
Their DC shows are horrible. I can't watch those.
I-
The
are
Flash.
they?
I think the early seasons of the Flash and Arrow were pretty good, but they degraded pretty quickly.
I didn't like them from the beginning.
Yeah, I liked Flash.
With Iron Fist on, that was probably the only Netflix Marvel that I did not like from the start. Iron Fist, I'm like, this sounds stupid. Let me watch episode. Oh, it is stupid.
Yeah,
Daredevil, Jessica Jones, Luke Cage, all of them were good. I don't know if they would fit in this decade.
I think they would. Yeah,
Okay, those were all good. But superheroes are a little played out, so I
Yeah.
don't blame you for not putting any of those on the list when they're about equally as good.
yeah. All right, well that brings us to number one, and Shameless, a Showtime show, remake of a British show. You guys familiar with
What's Shameless? What show is Shameless?
it? Shameless is shameless. All right.
There's a show called yeah.
Yeah.
Has one of my favorite actors, but it's one of those shows I don't want to watch just because of the type of comedy it uses. Like, I'm surprised It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia. I guess that's too old of a show.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, it was before.
See,
That was like
I don't
2005.
like those type of shows.
Yeah,
That's just a personal preference. I'll admit they have some good humor.
because
I don't know about Shameless.
Shameless wasn't actually. I wouldn't call Shameless a comedy. It's got it kind of runs the gamut, but it's mostly I would say like a maybe a comedic drama, but it's I would say it's more of a dramatic show with like comedy elements.
I don't think I have a subscription. Is it on Netflix?
Yeah, most of the seasons are on Netflix now, but it was originally a Showtime show. But yeah, if you guys aren't familiar with it, I don't think I've disliked any of the seasons. I think the character development is great. I don't know. I haven't watched all the British version to know like if they've deviated or if they have where. But it was definitely a good show. I think deserves its spot at number one for me.
Yeah, I had a feeling going into this that was going to be your number one. I don't disagree. I think the only episodes I've seen were at your house and thoroughly enjoyed them. I like William H. Macy.
Yeah. Surprised at his range, because like you always see him in I don't know, even either like because he was like Dr. Morgenstern on ER, and then like the kind of the sniveling guy in Jurassic Park 2, and you know what I mean? Like he kind of plays a lot of those, kind of like more boring end characters, but
he was in ER.
Yeah. Yeah.
A lot of people are in ER. Like, Alex Kingsley, who played River Song from Doctor Who, was in ER, and I was surprised to find that.
Yeah, it definitely had a lot of
got
stars
the George
in it.
Clooney.
Yeah. But but I was surprised at how well he did with playing Frank in Shameless.
What do you think of these British adapted shows, like The Office? There's plenty of others, but that's the most noticeable one.
Never a huge fan of The Office, to be honest.
Neither was I, but it's a famous British show that was converted to America.
Yeah.
I saw some sort of video on that last night about how they couldn't. Steve Carell could not pull off what Ricky Gervais did, being the mean boss in the British Office. Had to change him after the first season to make the show successful in America.
I usually like British humor, and I like The Office. I like the American Office, but I went back and tried to watch the British Office and was not impressed. I mean, I really like Stephen Merchant. I like Ricky Gervais. I like British humor in general, but it just didn't do it for me. Interesting choices. Trying to think if there's anything. Oh, I was kind of surprised no Supernatural on the list.
Oh, that's too old. That wouldn't meet.
Is it?
Here you go.
Yeah.
Started 13 years ago at least.
Wow. Not that I'm a big
Another
fan
example
myself,
of a
but
CW show.
yeah.
Breaking Bad is understandable why it doesn't meet his criteria for this.
Yeah.
I think that was the only thing that I really put on my television.
Yeah, I never watched any of the Amazon shows. I never watched, like, was it Dark Mirror, Black Mirror, whatever it is.
Oh, that's Netflix. But
Is
yeah,
that Netflix?
also, there's a lot of critical acclaim around Amazon Prime videos, which I have not gotten to, like Fleabag. And has anyone watched any of those Amazon Prime critical acclaim?
Marvelous Miss Maisel.
Yeah,
It's
that's
actually
one.
pretty good. And that was, I was going to put that on my honorable mentions, but I didn't want to make the list too long. But yeah, Marvelous Miss Maisel from Prime Video has been one of the better ones.
What was that Jack Ryan show with John Krasinski on Amazon? I kept meaning to. I thought about getting an Amazon subscription just to watch that because I like Jack Ryan a lot.
You don't have a Prime subscription, Mike? I thought everyone had those as default. Nope. It makes just ordering online so much easier.
Yeah, no, I don't do much online shopping. Yeah,
but no, TV shows is not my forte either.
It's tough too because, not watching like normal broadcast television. I feel like because there's probably things that people would put on their list like This Is Us and other stuff, but like I haven't caught a lot of that because I was part of the cord cutting trend like 3-4 years ago now. So a lot of I get exposed more to like Netflix shows than most of the network shows.
Yeah, and only when they cross over do you get exposure.
Exactly.
I like Good Omens. It doesn't meet your criteria. It's only one season, and I also like what was that superhero deconstruction recently on Prime?
Oh yeah,
The Boys.
The Boys.
Yeah.
I like that.
That one was good. Yeah.
But again, only the one season there.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I can't think of. I was glad that you mentioned Orange Is the New Black because I saw the first 2 seasons and really liked it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, third season's fine after that, but then
yeah, it does degrade.
He really should have just ended. How long is she going to be in prison?
Yeah.
Wasn't she supposed to be like 18 months?
I don't remember. She gets it extended at one point, but I'm not sure.
One thing that I want to mention before I don't know if it counts, but Critical Role. Yeah, the Dungeons and Dragons, voice actors playing Dungeons and Dragons. It was originally on Twitch.
Yeah.
It is still on Twitch.
I think I caught it while it was on Verb when they rolled out Verb. I know what you're talking about. Was it called Critical Role?
Yeah, Critical Role. A bunch of nerdy-ass voice actors play D&D.
It was good for the first few episodes, but it sort of got repetitive after a while.
No, I loved it. All 100.
They had the animation. Maybe we're not thinking about the same thing. They had an animation team.
I think you're thinking about the Dan Harmon one.
Yeah, that might be it.
Yeah. No, I never really watched that. But it's almost like a radio play.
Okay, we're thinking about 2 totally different things. Okay. But that is a good concept. You get good improv, doing some D&D and have some animators, doing some skits, doing some animation for the D&D campaign. As long as you plan the campaign, that's a great idea.
Well, this
the current generation.
They don't really do much. I think they are coming out with an animated show, but the original was not animated at all. It was just people sitting around a table. And it got a little cringy, truth be told, at certain points.
You have to edit it a little bit.
Well, no, they would do it live. It would be like 4-hour episodes. They'd do it live.
Yeah, I'm saying if you had an editor for that sort of thing and put it to an animation or maybe a drunk history style thing.
Sure.
That would actually be a great idea for a TV show. Take all these Critical Roles and Harmontown or whatever and just sort of make a good production out of it. It probably would get popular.
Just something I thought was worth mentioning.
Yeah, definitely a trend that would be worth putting time and money into if someone wanted to do that.
Well, I think that pretty much covers it, unless anyone else has.
That's all I had.
Well, this has been the definitive list of the best TV shows from the last decade.
So definitive.
if anything, if you disagree with anything said, your opinion is wrong. But feel free to tell us how much you disagree in the comments. This has been Bill, Brian, and Mike, and yet another Top 10 Tuesday in the books. Thanks for tuning in.